Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about my October wrap up and stats for the month. So, October was huge for me, both in the amount of books that I read, but also my daughter has started wanting to read chapter books and only chapter books. And I am loving it. So, you will see my middle grade numbers are like through the roof because we are reading a book like every couple days, and she just like will do anything to sit down and read one more chapter, and I am loving it. Like, we're not quite at Babysitters Club level because she's only 3, you guys. She's very advanced, but she is loving some. So you'll see some of the ones we picked up here, but overall, I read 31 books in October and DNF 2, so technically 33 things came and went. I read an average of 286 pages per day for a total of 8,859 pages. And interestingly, the average length of my book was 286 pages, which normally it's like in that 350 range, but because I'm reading these middle grades that are shorter, it was interesting how much that impacted my average page length. So as far as star rating goes, I had 2 DNFs, 2 2-stars, 1 2.5 star, 4 3 stars, 6 3.5 stars, 11 4 stars, 3 4.5, and 4 5 stars. Now, again, the average then is 3.77, which is higher than my normal, but I'm also super generous on these middle grades that we're reading. And partially, I think it's because I'm just like so excited about the fact that we're reading them together. And they're just cute. They're fun. You can't really see much wrong with them. I'm really enjoying them. So I read 24 novels, 1 novella, and then 8 graphic novels, which the graphic novels are what I'm categorizing all of these middle grades as, because they are middle grades that have pictures frequently throughout them. So, they're not novellas, but they're under 200 pages. I'm calling them graphic novels. So we read 8. I read 20 adult books, 4 new adult, 1 YA, and then, of course, 8 middle grade. I read 23 books off my shelf and 10 from somewhere else. So I feel like that is pretty good. If you haven't seen this month's in and out, that is already up. So you can check in on where I'm at for the goal of reducing my physical TBR. I read 7 from Hoopla, 17 from Libby, 1 from NetGalley, 5 from my shelf, and 3 from the library. As far as the years of publication go, I read 1 that was published before 1990, none that were 1990 to 1999, 3 from 2000 to 2009, 9 from 2010 to 2014, which, can you tell that was when I was like a tween reading all these books? But 2015 to 19, I read 8, and then 4 from 2020 and 8 from 2021. So 8 new releases, 24 backlist. That seems like that's always like up in the air. Sometimes it's super new release, sometimes it's super backlist, and I really like to do more backlist than new release, but this month I did it. So I read 13 romance, 9 contemporary, 6 thrillers, 2 women's fiction, 1 fantasy, 1 historical, and 1 nonfiction. So most of the middle grades too, I'm categorizing as contemporary because most of them are. The 1 fantasy was a middle grade, so we'll get to that here in a little bit. But 4 male authors, 29 female authors, and I did 1 readathon. I did the sweater weather readathon, and I really enjoyed that. And I finished it, except one of the prompts was read something like in a different format. Well, that's not even true. It reads something in a different format, and I didn't do it in my own reading because physical is like my least read format, and so physical was my thing, and I did not finish my book, but I did finish a bunch with Ainsley, so I guess I did win the readathon, for a lack of better words. For the unread shelf project that I am doing throughout the whole year, it is almost done, and I have made it, but that was a book you're secretly afraid of. So I did the Firekeepers Daughter because I was just not sure if I was going to like it. It's kind of big, like I was just kind of afraid of it. And then for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, it was a book set in a different country than your own. And I did Lost Roses by Martha Hall Kelly. So now let's just get into the books, and I can tell you what I thought of all of them. So the first one I read I've got so many stacks here, you guys, is Lake Season by Denise Hunter. So I am going to just go through these books and tell you what I rated them. And then if you have any questions or want to talk about any books, feel free to comment down below or reach out on Instagram, whatever you want to do. But this is part of her Bluebell Inn series. So I gave this one 4 stars. Firekeepers Daughter, I gave 3 stars. Yours and Mine by Debbie McComber, I gave 3.5 stars, and I buddy read this with Fiona from Reads and Eats. And then there's also The Bachelor Doctor's Bride, and it included as like an extra little book in here, and that one was 3.5 stars. The Keeper of Lost Things, I ended up DNFing this. Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire, I gave 3.5 stars. Behind Every Lie by Christina McDonald, I gave 4 stars. Carolina Breeze by Denise Hunter. This is the next in the Bluebell Inn series, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. I really like this one. Magic Hour by Kristen Hanna. I gave this one 4 stars. Judy Moody, Around the World in 8.5 Days. I gave 3 stars. This was the first one we did, and I kind of regret it because they are kind of snotty in this. So, like, I know a big thing for me and other moms and things trying to read chapter books to their young girls is like, you know, and I've heard a lot about like the Ramona Quimby books that Ramona's kind of a turd. And Judy, I don't feel like she's a bad kid. There's just a lot of like snarkiness and kind of cattiness between the kids that I just didn't really want to read for her. So I didn't love this one. 3 stars. Next is Slammed and Point of Retreat and This Girl by Colleen Hoover. So this is a part of her, I think it's called the This Girl series. And I gave Slammed 4.5, Point of Retreat 4, and then this one 2 stars because this one is just the same story as the first one told from his perspective, and I don't like that. I think it's a money grab. I don't like it when authors do that. I don't want to read the exact same story just from a slightly different perspective, so did not like that, but this series has been on my shelf for a while, so I'm glad I read it. Next is Never Let You Go by Chevy Stevens, and I gave this one 4 stars. Then Amelia Bedelia Means Business. I really like this. This is the first in the Amelia Bedelia chapter book series, and this one I gave a 5 star because I thought it was just so cute. Next, I read Piper Morgan Makes a Splash, and that is another one of the middle grades that we read, and it was really cute. I know it's also part of a series, and I gave that one 5 stars. Then I read Mothers, Daughters, and Body Image. This is one that I heard about like on a podcast or something, and I just figured I would browse like Hoopla and see if they had it, and they did, and I loved it. So I gave it 5 stars. April, May, Fall. This was one of my NetGalley books, I believe, and I gave that 4 stars. Then we've got Do No Harm by Christina McDonald, and I gave this one 4 stars. The Mouse Island Marathon, which is part of the Geronimo Stilton series, I gave 2 stars. I didn't like it, and I thought it was really full of like body talk and like diety stuff. And like after reading the body image book, I was like, I just don't like this. So yeah, we read that one. The Lies That Bind by Emily Giffen, I gave 4 stars. Amelia Bedelia Unleashed, that is the second in the Amelia Bedelia chapter book series. And you guys, I should take a picture of my daughter's room and show you. She has books everywhere, and like we pick them up frequently, and she gets them all out and she reads them. Like she will stay up late and get up early, and like she will stay in her room for like an hour in the morning just reading books. And I could not find this Amelia Bedelia book. I need to find her and see where it is, but I really liked it, and I gave it 5 stars. Then I read How Sweet It Is, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. It was really cute. Really enjoyed this one. Blood Sisters by Jane Corey, I gave 3 stars. Autumn Skies by Denise Hunter. This is another in the Bluebell Inn series. I gave 3 stars. This is the final one, and I just didn't like it. It's about the youngest sister, and they constantly talk about like how young she is, and like it almost felt like a creepy relationship, even though it wasn't. So I don't know. I'm glad I finished off the series and know like what happened with the inn, but this story was not my favorite. Next is Amelia Bedelia Road Trip, and I gave this one 4 stars. Wasn't my favorite, but I still enjoyed it. This one next is Lost Roses by Martha Hall Kelly, and I DNF this, you guys. I I liked Lilac Girls, and this is the prequel to that. And this one is just really slow, and like it just, I don't know, I could not get attached to the characters. And it's about World War One and Russia and things I didn't really know a lot about. And I didn't feel like she gave us enough context, like for me to be like being uneducated about that situation. And then it being so slow that I was like not interested because I didn't know context, and I was not interested because I was not attached to the people. So DNF this one. Next is the Ex Hex by Erin Sterling, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. Then Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I also gave 3.5 stars. Nancy Clancy Soccer Mania, which you guys, if you've got little girls, I'm sure you know Fancy Nancy. Fancy Nancy has a bunch of books for young kids, and she also has Nancy Clancy chapter books. Ainsley plays soccer, so she picked that one at the library, and it was really fun. I gave it 4 stars. Next is A Wedding on Lilac Lane by Hope Ramsey, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. Then Amelia Bedelia Goes Wild. This is number 4, and I gave it 4 stars. And then finally, The Neighbor's Secret by Elle, Allison Heller, 2.5 stars. I didn't like this. One of my subscribers told me they didn't think I was going to like this, and you were correct. So that is my October wrap up. It was quite the month, and I really enjoyed all of my reading, and I hope to keep continuing having these bigger numbers because I hope Ainsley keeps falling in love with chapter books. I don't see any stop to it now, so I am loving it. That is it. How was your October? What's the best thing you did? The best thing you read? Share all the things. I would love to hear. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.